So I have pretty much started every single video talking about Scissor, and I'm gonna do it again because SOS came out 5 years after Control and it was worth the wait. Kill Bill, SOS the title track, Seek and Destroy Low, Used, oh my god, Smoking on My X-Pac, Ghost in the Machine, Forgiveless, Too Late, Blind. One of my new favourite albums of all time, I love it. Also, look what came in the mail today. I got a Notice Left to Cry crew neck. Also, we're in a new location. Don't get used to it, this is a one-time only situation. So you catch me in my hallway. The stairs are behind me, except I have put a blanket to cover everything. Those are books. I will be talking about them today. Don't get used to this filming setup. I just wanted to change it up, okay? I'm also stood up right now, which is crazy. Hi, I'm Chris. Welcome back to whatever the this is. I still don't know, but what I do know is that finally I am filming my December reading wrap-up. I'm filming my November reading wrap-up. Oh my god, we're literally so far into December, I forgot. I was meant to film this video a while ago, but I got sick. Let's just jump right into it because I've already been talking for way too long. Heartless King by Maya Hughes. This is the final book in the Kings of Rittenhouse series. We're following, I think, Imogen and the guy. I think it's Combe, but it's a surprise pregnancy trope. It's also an I hate everyone in the world but you, and you kind of find out the reason why. I think it's Combe. I have no idea, so I'll just say the guy. The guy hates everyone in the world because of something that happens in the previous book, because the previous book follows his sister. So something happens in that book, which then leads to the guy in this book being an absolute menace. He's just moody all the time, okay? So annoying, but whatever. It does get a little bit old and repetitive, but like it's fine, you know. I hate everyone in the world but you trope. It's just how it goes. Okay, anyways, he also like had an injury, which means that he has to like stop playing ice hockey at a professional level. Then we have Imogen, who we meet Imogen in like book 2. This is book 5, the final book. She's like gone through a little bit of stuff that she's dealing with. She's like a physio, and so everyone, all of Combe's friends, are like trying to get her to work with Combe to make him, you know, feel better, get back on the ice and stuff. But what they don't know is that Combe and Imogen had a one-night stand, and so now it's kind of awkward between them. That's all I'm going to talk about with this book. I didn't really like it. I gave it 2 stars. I was feeling I was on one when I finished this book. I didn't like it. I gave it 2 stars. After I finished that series, I decided to continue with another series that I already started, which is the Franklin U series, which is an college romance series. I read the first book, Playing Games, like a couple months ago, and then I read the second book, The Dating Disaster. I read that. I think I talked about that in my last reading wrap-up, so you can watch that for my opinions on that book. This month I read Mr. Romance. This one is good. However, I won't lie, it's a little bit forgetful. Like, I know in the moment I remember loving this book, but now I can't even remember that what it's about that much. One of the guys, I'm pretty sure it's this one, right? He's like really friendly with like all of his friends, to the point where all of his friends thinks that they're dating because he's just naturally romantic. I don't even know. It's really like ridiculous, but that's kind of why I loved it. I think it's because he has rich parents, which like in turn makes him rich. So whenever he like wants to go out to dinner with his friends, he always ends up paying, and so everyone's kind of taken that as like a sign of, oh, we're in a relationship. There's other things on top of that. He loves spending time one-on-one with his friends and stuff like that. He's never done anything physical with any of his friends, but all of his friends seem to think that they're dating. Really ridiculous, okay? One of his friends who knows that they're not dating, I know it's weird, recommends that he goes and sees Mr. Romance, which is basically this guy, I think it's called Liam, but I actually have no idea. Basically gives like love advice to couples to like help them, you know, like someone might ask like, oh, what should I get my girlfriend for Valentine's Day? Can you help me like set up a date? You know, things like that, okay? This guy who has like the whole world thinking that they're in a relationship goes to talk to this guy basically to do the reverse, cement the fact that he's single and not in a relationship with anyone. Don't meet anyone one-on-one, don't pay for people's meals, don't offer all this shit and all that, and we start getting a romance kind of from there. I explained this really badly, but this was so good. I also read the next 2 books in that series. So the next one was called Bet You. I won't lie, I don't remember this one at all. Like, I couldn't even guess, so I didn't like it as much as the other books in this series. I had fun at the time, but I don't really remember it. I'm not even going to tell you what it's about. You can like read the blurb if you want. After that I read The Glow Up. I also don't really remember this book either. I think one of the guys is like a med student and the other one is like a massage therapist student, something like that. There's like a scene in this book where I think they spend like Thanksgiving at one of their parents' houses, and I really liked that scene. It was very good. Oh my god, the next book that I get to talk to you about, I devoured this book. I devoured like 70% of this book in like such a short amount of time, and then I ran out of time to like read consistently. This is The Sinner by Kelsey Clayton. This book is nothing special, it's not life-changing, it's none of that. It's quite cringy actually. It's a new adult high school bully romance, like childhood friends to enemies to lovers, but it was amazing. I had a fix. I needed a fix of something like this at the time when I read it, and so now when I read it, I absolutely like ate it up. It was so good. So this book, we're following Savannah and Grayson, who were childhood best friends. They were like inseparable. You know, like 8-year-olds that say they're gonna get married? They were those people. They were gonna get married. They were planning their weddings at 8, and then something happened when they were like, I don't know, they were still children, like 10, I don't know, I have no idea. Something happened that caused Grayson to move away for like years, literally like almost 10 years. Savannah was like really confused, like why did he leave, like what's happened? Anyways, then we fast forward till they're like 17, 18ish. Savannah ends up turning 18 in the book. I think Grayson's already 18, so you know, Grayson comes back. Grayson ends up moving back and goes to him and Grace Prep, which is the same school that Savannah goes to, with the only intention of ruining Savannah's life. And so we're kind of introduced to this and we're like, what the did this girl do? This book is amazing. It's nothing special, it's nothing good, and it's very toxic. So entertaining, it's so good. It scratched an itch that I had at the time. I had so much fun reading this one. That now takes us onto our 4 physical books that I read. I read all of these right at the end of the month, so I'm going to talk about these now. This is Binding 13. Oh my god, look at the glare. This is Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. I devoured it. You've probably heard a lot of people talk about this book because it has been trending on TikTok for like months, but with good reason. This book was amazing. This series is so good. We're following Johnny and Shannon. This book is set in like high school in Ireland. Shannon used to go to this like public school and she was always bullied and harassed, and she has like a lot of trauma from all of this, right? She also has a very like toxic and abusive family, so trigger warning for like domestic violence. There is a lot of it and it's quite graphic. Ends up convincing her parents to let her go to a new school, and she goes to like a private school called Tommen. And on our first day, when she's almost late to a class, she like running across like the rugby pitch, and next thing she knows, a fucking rugby ball smack bang conks her on the head and she basically like passes out from it. Who threw or kicked said rugby ball? None other than Mr. Johnny over here, who is, he's obviously a student, but he's like really good at rugby to the point where he could be a professional rugby player, okay? Like he's that good, he's that, if you will. We basically get a really long slow burn romance from there, but this book is like, honestly, it's so much more than a romance. The found family in this, I was shocked that I enjoyed it because I don't like long books. I read Keeping 13 by Chloe Walsh. I absolutely despise these covers. These books have like older covers. If you go on Goodreads you can see them. They're so much better than this. They're so much better than this, but like I needed these books in paperback because I love them so much. I read these 2 books back to back. I literally feel like I eat, sleep and breathe this universe. This is just a continuation of what happens in Binding 13 with the same 2 characters, but this was just so good. It's such a good series. I think everyone should read it. Obviously look up trigger warnings because it is pretty dark. Okay, that leads us on to the final 2 books that I read, which is also a series. I read Full Tilt and Ollie by Emma Scott. You've probably like heard about this book before because it makes a lot of people cry. It didn't make me cry, and I think the reason why is because the like sad part about this book you literally get told about from like the first page. You kind of put 2 and 2 together and you're like, oh, this is why it's sad. The 2 characters in this book are so in love with each other. It's amazing. I really did like this book. I gave this one 4 stars. It was very good despite the fact that I didn't cry. Casey is like a rock star, kind of an ex-rock star, but like at the beginning she's a rock star. Jonah is a limo driver, so their meet cute is that Casey ends up partying too hard after one of her tours, and so she needs to get a ride back to wherever she's staying, and so obviously her limo driver is the one that does it, aka Jonah. When Jonah tries to go to the place where she's staying, she doesn't have a key, they can't get in, so Jonah obviously is gonna just take her back to his house just so that she can like sleep off a little drunken haze on the couch, you know. And so that is what happens, and that is the meet cute, and that is the vibe. I'm not even going to tell you anything else that happens from here, just read the book. There's a camping scene in this book. I loved it. That brings me on to the second book, which is All In. All In I did not like as much. It was fine, it was good. I think I gave it 3 stars. It wasn't as good as Full Tilt, and that is why it's got 3 stars, and that is why I didn't enjoy it. It just wasn't as good. I can't tell you why, because this is a direct continuation from book 1, and I'd have to spoil book 1 to tell you what book 2 is about, so I'm not going to say anything except the fact that I just didn't like this one as much. This is the last book that I read in November. I actually finished this one in December, but since I read Full Tilt, I thought I might as well talk about All In as well. Here are the 4 physical books that I read this month. Obviously I read a bunch of ebooks as well, but I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, comment down below if you've read any of these books, what your opinion on any of these books are, if you've got any of these books on your TBR, and just stuff like that. I want to know. I'm curious. I am nosy, okay? Also, please go stream SOS by SZA. It's like such an incredible album. If you've never listened to Control before, listen to Control as well. That is genuinely my favourite album of all time. I'm gonna go now. Goodbye, peace out, see ya.